Hello, so our topic of discussion today is the impact of the ketogenic diet on obesity, metabolism, and other various health outcomes. So you may have heard the words keto or ketogenic diet being thrown around or seen it through social media, friends or family. So today we're really going to dive in and dissect everything that the ketogenic diet entails and whether it's worth it. Okay, so what is the ketogenic diet, you may ask? It is characterized as the low carbohydrate diet. Also, similar is the Atkins diet, if you haven't heard of that. Um, it consists of the majority of your caloric intake being composed of fat and an adequate amount of protein with low or little carbohydrate intake. Um, this can be this can be accomplished by consuming foods such as red meat, fatty fish, poultry, nuts and seeds, cheeses, oil and butters, eggs, and non-starchy vegetables. Here is just another list I threw in there to show the other types of foods that are eaten on the ketogenic diet. Stuff like lamb, goat, bacon, eggs, low-carb vegetables, high-fat dairy, nuts, low-sugar fruits, all that type of stuff. So let's dive into the original purpose of the keto diet and its origins and history. It was originally utilized as food therapy for children with hard to control epilepsy. The lower carbohydrate intake resulted in elevated amounts of ketone bodies in the blood and therefore a lower frequency of epileptic seizures. You may not know what ketone bodies are, but we're going to be talking about that in the next slides. So the process of ketosis. First, I'll talk about what ketone bodies are, and it's just three related compounds: acetone, acetic acid, and beta hydroxybutyric acid are produced during the metabolism of fats, and they just combine into these ketone bodies in the blood, which is also leads to the process of ketosis, which is the metabolic state of elevated levels of ketone bodies in the blood or urine. These ketones are used as alternate sources of fuel instead of glucose because in the ketogenic diet, you're not getting a lot of glucose, which is the body's main source of energy. Therefore, they use ketones. And it forces your body into fat burning mode, which is why a lot of people are choosing the ketogenic diet because they want to burn fat. The liver is forced to produce these ketone bodies from fatty acids from the fat and the overproduction of acetyl-CoA, therefore burning fat. So why the ketogenic diet? It aims to promote the metabolism of fats into ketone bodies and use fats into glucose to serve as the body's main source of energy, like I've already said, force the body to burn fats rather than carbohydrates. And I think another reason why people are choosing the ketogenic diet is because it has been pushed into the mainstream health and fitness industries all over the world. It's more of a new diet trend. So once it gets out there, people are interested and want to jump into it. And it's created a lot of like hype in the fitness industry. So these are just some of the health claims that the ketogenic diet proves to help or aid. It says to speed up metabolism, can help with obesity and serious health-related diseases like cardiovascular disease, and HbA1c, which is related to hemoglobin and blood sugar. Also, like in the previous slides, it produces B-hydroxybutyrate or BHB, which is an appetite suppressant, or it helps appetite regulation and maintenance. So people have lower appetite. It also helps lower triglycerides and lower LDLs and increase HDLs, which is good and bad cholesterol. It's shown to have efficient and quick weight loss, reduce blood pressure and blood glucose, obviously because we're not having a lot of glucose in our body, so lower that. Reverse insulin resistance, which can help with people with type 2 diabetes, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, and lower the ratio of ApoB and ApoA1, which ApoB is a constituent of VLDLs and LDLs, and ApoA1 is a constituent of HDLs, and they're both strongly related to coronary risk. So our research question is, does adopting the ketogenic diet have a beneficial impact correlation on different aspects regarding obesity, metabolism, and other various health outcomes? In the next few slides, we're going to be talking about some primary articles and studies um, disproving or proving whether the ketogenic diet is worth it. So our first one is the ketogenic diet, pros and cons by O'Neill, Blair, and Paolo Raggi. So I just included some citations and quotes from the articles. So I'll just read through them. It says ketogenic diet has a rigorous limitation of carbs while allowing a liberal ingestion of fats, which include saturated fats, which are not good for you, and has created a flurry of interest with equal amounts taking the pro and con position. So there's a lot of controversy over the ketogenic diet, whether it really proves to show what it says it proves. But it has been shown to have rapid and sensible weight loss and has shown favorable biomarker changes, such as reduction in serum hemoglobin A1C in patients with diabetes mellitus type 2. Um, but on the other hand, it does cause a substantial rise in low density lipoprotein cholesterol levels because you are consuming more high cholesterol foods, and many physicians are therefore hesitant to endorse it. Um, so that's just kind of a synthesis of what I've gotten out of this article, kind of like the pros and cons, or some good and some bads in there. Moving on to the next one, which is the ketogenic diet for obesity, friend of foe. And I also just put some other quotes in there. So we all know that obesity is reaching epidemic proportions, is an epidemic, especially in the US, and is a strong risk factor for several cardiovascular and metabolic disorders like hypertension, atherosclerosis, type 2 diabetes, and other cancers. And it was ketogenic diet. It is the most studied strategies in the recent years because it has been in the mainstream in the recent years. So it has been tested and kind of researched for weight loss. And it does show that this kind of nutritional approach has a solid physiological and biochemical basis and is able to induce effective weight loss along with improvement in several cardiovascular risk parameters. So this one was more in favor of the ketogenic diet, and its studies did show that um, it helped with these coronary risks. In our last one, it says the potential health benefits of the ketogenic diet, a narrative review. I think this review was very beneficial in showing how the ketogenic diet affects the microbiome, cancers, diabetes, coronary risk, obesity. It went through everything. It had a lot of diagrams, so I linked it on the side there. And it said that the resulting carbohydrate restriction lowers blood glucose levels, and the subsequent insulin changes will instruct the body to change from a state of storing fat to a state of fat oxidation. Once fats are utilized as the primary fuel source in the liver, the production, like I said, of ketone bodies, the liver is forced to produce ketone bodies. This is known as ketogenesis. People on the ketogenic program were more successful in helping patients manage their diabetes by reducing their HbA1cs, lower triglycerides, increasing weight loss, and retention rates were higher than in the control group. So people not on the ketogenic diet are trying out the foods associated with the ketogenic diet. It appears from preliminary studies that the ketogenic diet might have favorable outcomes on cardiovascular disease, but still view the idea with great skepticism. So there's still a lot of people who are skeptical whether this diet actually works and are very cautious to try it. In medicine, obviously, we go by the gold standard and do a lot of randomized control studies. And many physicians feel that there is not enough of these studies to consider changing their medical advice and endorsing this kind of diet. And just there on the side, it's kind of like a reverse dietary food pyramid, with the recommended or normal one being carbs, our greatest amount of calories coming from carbs, then protein, and then fat. And then ketogenic diet, you're consuming a lot more fat and lower carbohydrates. So just kind of the opposite. And then wrapping it up, the hard truth, the ketogenic diet, it does favor foods high in cholesterol and saturated fats, which we all know are not good for you. and there's been shown a greater risk of weight regain. It has been considered a yo-yo diet by many. And a yo-yo diet is when you just gain all the way back or gain even more than how much you weighed in the beginning. So it kind of just reverses all of your progress. And it has been shown there has been some renal dysfunction and kidney dysfunction. There can be kidney stones, and this is due to the overproduction of acetyl-CoA. And just like acid in the blood can form kidney stones. Can also lead to ketoacidosis, which can be life-threatening for people with type 2 diabetes. That's a combination of ketosis and acidosis. We already talked about ketosis. It's the keystones and ketone bodies in the blood, and acidosis is increased acidity of the blood, which can be very dangerous. And it is still not medically proven or professionally prescribed weight loss method or program. Medical professionals are not going to endorse it or prescribe it. It can be used to help people with obesity and people with cardiovascular risks. But again, it's not sustainable long term, and no diets are, the word diet is already unsustainable. It's not proven long term. No diet is proven to work long term. So in conclusion, these are just my ending thoughts and recommendations on the ketogenic diet. I can read through the paragraph. Conclusion: after researching the potential implications of following the ketogenic diet, correctly understood and utilized in a specific time period and situation, can be a beneficial tool to help obesity and metabolism. Period of consuming a low carb, high protein, and fat diet and introducing the body to ketosis can help regulate hunger and metabolism, therefore leading to weight loss. Although I personally do not believe the ketogenic diet is the most effective means of maintaining health goals, long-term overall health, no diet can ever claim to provide results forever, and overall, the action of dieting is unsustainable. There is no universally accepted successful weight loss maintenance regimen. It is more common for diets like the ketogenic diet, which provides rapid weight loss for individuals to gain around or even more than what they previously lost. Therefore, with my knowledge, I suggest to use and implement the ketogenic diet only as a short-term and carefully managed method for obesity, weight loss, and metabolism. And then at the bottom, I linked another source, which is Why Do Diets Fail? It's just kind of like a summary of dieters' experiences and how in the long term diets do not work, and how I think the greatest recommendation I can give is focusing on intuitive eating. So you can use ketogenic diet for short-term weight loss and helping with obesity and metabolism, but not long term. So yeah, that's just my works cited for the images, and the primary sources are on the designated slides. Thank you for listening to me, and those are my thoughts about the ketogenic diet and how it affects other health outcomes. Thank you.